Mhm. All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Toddcast. It is Thursday. It is your free State of the Union pregame event. That's pretty much
Is
that's
that
how we're
tonight?
gonna
I
look
don't
at
even
this.
know.
Yeah, it's at 9 o'clock.
Oh,
It's in
didn't
50
even know.
minutes.
Okay,
So,
I'm sure it'll be riveting.
right, we're gonna watch
Well, unless,
MTG lose her shit and
Yeah.
hopefully get thrown
Oh,
out of the
oh,
chamber.
of course,
And
of course, it'll be worth it if there's a highlight of Biden just giving her the finger. It'd be
that
like
would
the
oh
be
my
most
God,
great.
that'd be
You know
great.
what?
epic,
Yeah.
most epic.
If he just goes, grumpy old man and just goes full on with that, you know what? I'm
Total
Oh,
down for
Dark
it.
Brandon. Total
I'm
Dark
Dark
Brandon,
down.
that's
Brandon.
right. Fucking Dark
He
Brandon.
He puts the
he better
shades
have the
on and stuff.
sunglasses ready to go. Yeah.
That's right. Wasn't he selling coffee mugs where if you like the
Dude,
eyes would light up or something? Like he
I
was leaning into it at one
I
point.
bought one.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I bought one and then immediately after my first cup of coffee, like I have two smaller dogs now and um they're crazy hyper, so one ran and I tripped and I busted the fucking handle off. So now it's a pen cup in my bedroom.
Right.
Um
Just hope you have some
but
hot pens, I guess. I don't know.
well, my wife keeps the house super cold all the time,
Oh,
so it's
lucky.
yeah. So even in the winter it's like 40 degrees in my house. Anyway, windows are open, whatever, it's snowing, whatever. That's just how we roll.
It's Pittsburgh.
Um it
It's
is true.
true.
So it's yeah. So we are joined tonight with our good friend Dennis Robinson, um creator of Lycan and podcaster, game master, um, what else?
Jersey.
Jersey aficionado.
Mostly I
Uh,
just wore it just to tease John because he always talks about how he likes the
I love
jerseys.
them so much.
And I'm like,
I
well, here's the
do.
new one.
Uh, I've seen pictures of it, and I was like, God damn, he just keeps making sweet
Well,
jerseys.
do you know who designs the jerseys, right?
No.
Swan.
Oh,
Yeah, she
really?
she and I sit down. So Aweo is the name of the company, and they have like
Okay.
a designer program or whatever. So yeah, she and I sit down and we just literally just knock a jersey out every time. So
Wow. You have make sure you tell her I said hello. I do miss Emily. She's
oh
always
yeah,
fun to hang out with.
yeah.
So, so before we dive in, we're going to remind people that this Saturday is our Ohio Valley Mall anniversary sale. Tons of stuff on sale. Uh, dollar bucks are half off. Lots of fun. I just dropped off some awesome wall books for there. Then shortly thereafter, we will have the return of the warehouse sale for this year in April. So if you're interested in coming out to the what is right now a meat locker because it is not heated at all warehouse, um,
So you feel like
it'll
you're
be a
really
good
home.
time. It oh my God, for me it is. It's like I'm just at home. At least that cold the snakes stay out of the building. Uh, but am I
Secretly,
joking? Mm.
Probably
secretly
not.
No, I'm
secretly the
not.
Penguins sit there and they dig through comic books instead of playing hockey.
Yeah,
So
it's true. Like, every once in a while we'll just randomly see like Sidney Crosby skate through the side and like, we're just like, "Oh, hey man, what's up?" Um and then after that, we're prepping for Free Comic Book Day. Don't forget that. And then also remember Three Rivers Comic Con is coming up in June. Tickets are on sale. You can get your cheaper tickets now till May 6th, and then after that they go up to whatever it's going to be at the door, which is like $2 to $3 more depending on the price point that you buy it at. And if you buy your ticket in your local New Dimension Comics, we will eat the service fee, which isn't a lot, but we'll still eat it for you because we're cool like that. So, and we still have some guests to announce. Oh my God, we still have guests to announce, and I'm this close on a couple of them. I got an amazingly fun email that I will tell you guys about after we're done, so it's not on record. Because I was like, did that email just happen? So, um, but I'll tell you about it later. And then real quick, I just want to show you guys the awesome toys that are available in your local NDC and some of your other shops now that I bought because I'm a stupid Big Masters fan. Movie Evil Lynn.
Okay.
and she comes with like a clear key, which is cool.
Okay.
Like the universe key thing.
Oh, that's right.
The,
Yeah.
And
the,
then
the thing that made absolutely no sense in the entire movie. Yeah.
Orko and Quildor. Because I'm pretty sure this is only the second time they've ever made Quildor.
Yeah.
And Andy comes with that super souped up He-Man power sword that he made in the Revolution TV show, which I really enjoyed. And if you haven't watched it and you're a Masters fan, you should. It was very good.
Yes.
So, all right, now we can talk some werewolves.
I'm always down for that.
So, yeah. So the promo tonight, I definitely posted about the Maria Wolf cover because I was like,
It's
oh my
awesome.
God, this thing is so nice.
It's awesome.
It is so good.
Thank you again,
and-
John, for recommending Maria to me at Baltimore Comic-Con last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad it worked out more than
It's
anything.
easy to convince Maria to do, hey, do you want to do a wolf cover? Because she's down for whatever. You know?
Yeah. It's like, yo, Wolfie, you want to
Yeah.
draw some more wolves? And
Yeah.
she's just
Yeah.
like, I
Yep.
like wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she'd been
So-
messaging me like off and on through the last few weeks. She's like, "This is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a fun one." I was like, "Okay, all right, I'm waiting. We'll see what turns out. I'm on pins and needles." And then I got it like 2 days before we were supposed to launch, and I was like, "Oh, cut it close. All right, sweet." And then gave it to the colorist, and then colorist knocked it out in a day, and then gave it to the letterer who finished it in like 10 minutes because they're
Nice.
both awesome. And I was like, "Okay, thank God." And then we
Well, the
still missed
letter
launch
probably
day
was all
anyways,
just
so.
like digitally slap the logo on
It's
there.
it's
and
the
that's it,
same
yeah.
probably lettering that he already did for the first cover. So he's just like, all right, blah.
Right. So, but it looks so good, and it's very Maria Wolf.
Oh yeah.
So the other cool part is you're both going to be at Three Rivers Comic Con. So if anyone gets
okay.
these by then, they can
When
they
is
can
it?
buy them from
June?
you, June 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, they won't be there by
No.
then.
Ah,
People take a very long. So I can't send the books to print until everyone fills out or answers my questions for the surveys because of the thank you page that goes in the book.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
So
right.
people are not always the best, and every time I've done a Kickstarter so far, I have to. Usually, it's people that I know personally, and then have to walk them through how to find the survey again because they lost it. Or
Mm.
just have them tell me what they like. Just tell me what name you want to put in the book, and then I just put it in there. Or look at
Or
what they had the last year.
You can just put New Dimension Comics in for ours. It's
Okay.
fine. It doesn't need to be anybody specific. Just
Sure.
the
Just say
company in
Todd.
general is fine.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Todd.
He'll never see the book anyway. Like,
For my dearest friend Todd,
Todd.
I know you so well. Thanks so much for your support and all everything you do.
wow. But okay, so when will the book actually be shipped out then?
So again, that depends on when I can get the responses from everybody. The
Okay.
book isn't 100% finished art-wise yet. I
Okay.
believe we're on page 84 out of 90. So we're close to having the art done. The colorist is a little further behind. He's 50-something, I believe. And then the
Okay.
letterer basically can, do those as fast as I give them to him pretty much. So if I had to guess, the book will probably end up being done by May. And then if the surveys have been filled out by then, it takes 3 months for them to
Oh
print
shit.
it and then ship it
Okay.
because they print it out of China. So
Okay.
it takes 4 to 6 weeks to print it and then 4 to 6 weeks to ship it. So, I mean, I could spend extra money for like 3-day shipping, but it's more than the printing cost of the book.
Don't do that. No. Yeah.
No.
So, okay, then I will suggest to you maybe making some prints of her cover for the show.
I have it. Yeah, yep. That's the plan.
Yeah, and be like $10 for this print.
Yep, that's what I do.
There you
Yep.
go. Good deal. Good deal. I'll try to make sure you're at least like in the same row.
Okay. That works. The last time at Three Rivers, I was around like 4 werewolf people. There's a werewolf movie behind me. and I forget there was a couple other werewolves in the immediate vicinity. And then somebody came up to me and said that they also had a book called Lycan, but I didn't get a chance to go over and actually look at it, so I have no idea what if there
That's
is or not.
funny. Well, the thing I find kind of interesting, of how that fell into that. Like, I think I knew that the movie people were a
Mhm.
werewolf movie, but the other people, I don't think I necessarily knew that. I don't, because they just kind of wrote like self-published books, right,
Uh,
as their description, and then we like Scott, who's the third member of our Three Rivers team. He's the guy who actually vets all this stuff and makes
okay.
sure that like it's not porn or it's not um like super racist or anything.
Sure.
Like he's the guy that checks for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you do find anything that's wrong at the show, we know who to blame because he's not
Mhm.
on the show.
There
So
we
I did
uh
think it was very serendipitous though last year. I'm walking around like it's like we're very werewolf heavy this year.
I was gonna say there
Because
was. I don't normally Heroes Con. There were two werewolf people. Lee Horton does a Scottish werewolf book, but he didn't actually
mhm.
have his books with him. He just had his like amazing art prints. And then there was another lady who was like an aisle and over one that she also does like an anime style, almost Ghibli-esque werewolf book. So I was like, oh, okay, well, there's three werewolf, people. That was the most werewolf stuff I had seen, at least like in a comic book format, in any of the shows I did last year, other than your show. But again, that was sort of mixed media.
yeah,
There was a few different werewolf things going
Yeah.
on, but
Yeah, it's weird sometimes though, because because honestly, what we do is we take like the big two or three published people, and
mhm.
we just kind of like put them around the room so that people have to walk to them. And if they
Uh,
like, like there's guys like I'm gonna put Trish by Dave Wachter because they're both gonna have a book by Tony Fleeks. Like they each did an art by with Tony Fleeks
mhm.
writing, so I'm gonna put them side by side, right? Because that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
But like, and then there's like some people like Vito knows everybody, so he's like kind of I can put him by anyone and it's cool.
Mhm.
Um, but sometimes I want to put him by like somebody higher up because like he'll know them and like I trust him, like if they need something and they're too shy to ask, like he'll get in touch with me.
Okay.
That kind of thing. But mostly I put them around the room because I want people to walk through the room
Mhm.
to find the higher people. I don't want to just put them all in the back or in the front, or along the wall. Like that doesn't make sense to me,
Sure.
right? Um, because it's like putting the milk in the back, right?
Yeah.
So it just happened though last year that all those people just probably put like self-published comics,
Yeah.
and we just happened to put you all in the same thing because I literally then blindly plug people in.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah,
know.
because I remember Comicsburg was across from me, but they were like 3 tables or 4 tables if you count the L. So they had like a real long, but they also have like 8 people. So they had a
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
different people in there. And I forget who else was in there. But yeah, I do remember the werewolf movie. I have it. I still haven't watched it yet, but because I have no time. But yeah, they were behind me. So I had a chance to talk to them a few times. So they were super nice.
Nice. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you had fun at the show.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to having you back.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna
absolutely.
be another
I used to live in
crazy fun
Pittsburgh,
year.
so it's always fun, coming back and then getting to eat all my favorite foods, at least as much as I
Right?
can, anyways. And then
Well,
you
well,
introduced me to the new foods that I now have to add to the list of going to.
well, I thought it was funny, like, because you came in for Memento, the second Memento con,
Yeah.
and we had dinner because like I had the Steranko signing the one night and then something else going on the next day, and we just couldn't make it work.
Hmm.
So you and I met up for dinner at the hell's it called? Nova.
Okay.
And it's what used to be the Allegheny Mall,
Which I used to
right?
walk through to
And
go to
you
school
used to
every day.
live behind it. Yeah,
Yep.
and we're sitting there and you're
Because I
like,
even said to you, I was like,
this is the
yeah,
mall that I used to
yeah.
walk.
Well, I didn't even know it because it was dark, so I didn't look
Hmm.
familiar to me at all. And I was like, oh yeah, I used to walk through this one mall to go to school every day. And you're like, yeah, we're sitting in it right now. Like, we're here. I was like, oh, I would have never have known.
This
Because it was
is
so
the
nice.
building.
It was
yes.
crap back then in
Yeah, yeah.
2005 or 6. Yeah, ways back.
Yeah, I don't disbelieve that it was crap back then.
Well, it was weird
So,
that they would let you walk through it. I don't think there were any stores in it, but you could just walk through it. So like people, because I guess it was a pain in the butt to walk around it. So
Yeah.
you just walk through it. And the most memorable thing about that mall was when a security guard not in the mall chased me through the mall and caught me on the other side of the mall because he thought I was Ashton Kutcher because I had longer hair at that point. And like,
I can see that though.
he started up from like, what's the baseball stadium? PNC Park? Is that what it is? Or
Yeah.
what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he started up there and caught me on the other side of the mall. And he was like, and I was like, are you okay? Like, is there, like, can I help you with something? He's like, I was like, why are you chasing me? He's like, oh, I thought you were Ashton Kutcher. I was like, well, why are you chasing me? And he's just like, I was going to get an autograph. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'll sign something for you if you want. But like, he's like, no, it's fine. And he just like walked away very dejected. I was like, all right.
Oh my.
Weird things
That's
in
awesome.
Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen people
it's-
do that for Steeler autographs. You're like,
Yeah.
go after Troy Polamalu. Like, you really want to run after Troy Polamalu?
Sure,
Go for it.
Right.
I was like, he's a nice dude. I was like, but he's stacked. He's
Yeah.
gonna knock you.
Yeah. I remember one time we had a managers meeting in Cranberry at the North Park Lounge, and we're sitting. They seated us in this little like window area that faces Route 19. So basically, there's chairs and tables on one side and chairs and tables on the other side, and then nothing in the middle. And we're all on one side, and this family's on the other side, and we're just like, man, that guy kind of looks familiar, like from behind, like he's facing the wall. And then eventually they get up to leave, and it's Troy Polamalu and his whole family. we're all like, oh shit, oh shit. Like, and then like there, of course, there was like two people there that were like, who's Troy Polamalu? We're like, oh man, you live up to nerd. You, wow.
Sport. Is he sports ball player?
Sports ball, right?
Did
Sports
he
ball.
score goal unit baskets? Got it.
I was gonna say, you watch shampoo commercials, right? He's the head.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
shoulders
say
guy.
it's hard not to have seen him
Yeah.
at some point in your life.
Yeah.
Right. They were like, oh, he does look familiar. And I'm like, oh my God. Just kill me. Yo, you
Yeah,
guys
no,
are
my
awful.
family are all Steelers fans. I'm an Eagles fan. And my family members, yeah, they would freak out. They have like Troy Polamalu jerseys and yeah, they're decked to the nines and Steelers stuff. So yeah, they would freak out and squeal
Yeah.
probably. That's how I would be if I ever met Jason Kelsey, just because that guy just looks like he'd be fun to hang out with.
Right.
I don't know if you saw when the Bills played the Chiefs, Jason Kelsey was in the parking lot
Yeah.
chugging beer with the
Yeah.
fans.
He looked like
Yeah.
a Bills fan. Yeah. He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Just a man of the people. It's like, okay. And
I
then
would-
at the
I
game,
would
he was
totally
hanging
hang
out
with
the
him.
window, shirtless, 2 beers in each hand, just rah.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that's Jason.
I feel like college me would have had a great time hanging out with him. 42-year-old me, not
not
so
as much.
much.
He said in his
I'd be
retirement
like-
speech that the GM was keeping him around year after year by just bribing him with kegs of beer. And like it worked. It kept him around for
believe it.
another couple of years. He's just like, all right. But I guess his wife was just like, nope, no more. We're done. And he's like, okay, fine.
Wow. I believe it though. I can totally believe it. So, all right, let's take a look at the Kickstarter and see where we're at. Boom. So, holy crap, $6,000 out of 10,000, 60%.
Yeah,
In what,
I am
6
surprised.
days?
Yeah, no,
Like-
5. It's only been 5.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been shocked at how well it's gone so far. Because one of the nice things about Kickstarter, you can look at your previous projects and sort of see day by day, you know, how much money you made and all that stuff, and sort of how many
Mhm.
backers and all that stuff. And just looking at the other two, this one blows the other two out of the water in terms of how fast it got up and like the number of backers and the amount of time. Like I think for this amount of money, it took the other two campaigns more than 2 weeks to do. So to have this in
right.
like 5.5 days. Yep, just blows my mind. So yeah,
That's
super
awesome.
super happy with how it's turned out so far, which makes me happy because of all the dumb amount of work that I put into this Kickstarter.
That's awesome.
And we finally
I
got
don't know
projects we love,
why.
which I've never
Oh, I'm
gotten
not logged
before.
in. Okay. I was like, why is it telling me I haven't backed this? I'm like, I know I backed it. I'm like, oh, it's
I
because
said
I
I
didn't log in. Okay,
was gonna
cool.
say I know you backed it. I saw it. Thank you.
Yep, yep. I was like, retailer covers. Boom. Let's
Yep.
go. So for you guys who haven't read the book, you can check out the whole story, or at least a nickel tour of the story, right here. Um, check out the book. You can see some of the art styles. You can see some covers, which are awesome. I like this one a lot. I don't.
That one I'm gonna modify. So I didn't have enough time to play with it because of how soon it came with the Kickstarter. But when that's like minus the Lycan and all the stuff that's on it, that'll be what the print is for that. But before I
Oh,
actually
cool.
send it to print, I'm gonna move this image down so it's not covering up and then I'll just fill in the top with some dark space,
Oh,
I
okay.
guess. Yeah.
So it's more like sky, like the logos in the sky.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I just don't want it covering up the werewolf's face because Matthew Sutton's the artist that did that. And I was like, well, I think you did a
Yeah.
really great job, but I don't want to cover up your awesome art.
I mean, right now it just kind of looks like awkward teeth coming out of the sky, but
There you go.
it's cool. I'm cool with that. Like demon sky. There's
Mhm.
the Maria cover. That's
Yes.
just holy shit. Like,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. She nailed
damn.
it.
You're welcome.
No, thank you. I can't say thank you enough.
So, I thought this was cool. Like you actually put down the cost of things.
Yeah, and
Um,
I made a whole video explaining how everything breaks down, where the money
right?
goes, and I've seen that in other Kickstarters before, and I get there's a few comments that I always get after Kickstarters are over, and I think I even say it in the video where after the first one I had set the goal at 6,000, and after Kickstarter and bounced cards, I had made about 8,500, I think it was. So people were like, "Oh, you made $2,000 of profit." It's like, no, that's just what I set the goal at. The first book actually cost me 22,500 to make and print. So no, the 8.5 did not make the money back. It just paid for the printing cost basically and a little bit, more on top of that to
Right.
help keep production going. So I figured since I keep getting that after each Kickstarter, I'd make a little video explaining, nope, it's actually really expensive to make comics if you're the cheapest guy on the team, aka the writer.
Yeah, yeah, I imagine. Paper is not cheap is the big thing.
There's that.
Especially and you could do like for those of you guys who haven't seen, like we do have some copies of volume 1 and 2 in the store still. Like it's not cheap paper. Like it's
Oh,
high quality paper.
yep.
Like the cover is like this high quality cardstock.
Hmm.
Like it is sexy. It is a sexy book.
Thank you.
Um, absolutely.
I'm
And
I'm a stickler for quality, so I was like, I want this to look like a legitimate book. So
right. I mean,
I wanted
it's
it.
kind of one of those things where it's like if you're gonna do all this work, you might as well not have the product look like crap when you're done.
Yeah, and
Right.
I've had other like printing companies come up to me at shows. That almost every show there's a various printing companies. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, sometimes I like the quality's pretty good, and sometimes I don't like the quality at all. And I'm just like, well, I mean, I like the the company I'm working with, so I don't really see any reason to switch off of it, just
Right.
because I love how the quality of the books turns out every time. And whenever I go to submit the book, there's a lot of back and forth. Like anytime they spot anything that might even remotely be wrong, they reach out and they're like, hey, let's fix this or that. So their customer support team is also amazing. So yeah, Print Ninja, love them to death.
Nice. All right, let's go to back this project and look at your tiers.
Alrighty.
So for $5, you just get the PDF.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I I'm just curious, but how many of these do you normally get? Like of people that are like, I just want to read it. Here's $5.
So I can look up exactly how many from like the last one, but typically I think it's a few. It's definitely over a dozen. No, so like the second one, it was 47 backers were at that level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
So,
like part of me just kind of like, being in the industry of comics,
Mhm.
to me, like this kind of feels like my family's gonna back it and they're just gonna get a PDF of it, and
I do have
you
some
know.
friends that do that where so what I do with the Kickstarter when things start to slow down, I haven't done it this week, I'll probably start doing it next week, is I bug every human being on my phone, Facebook, and Instagram that I know personally. As long as the last message I sent them wasn't, "Hey, I'm doing this Kickstarter." It's like, "Well, haven't talked to them in a year and a half. I'm going to just not do that and try to remember to send them a message before that." So when I reach out to people that way, there's a couple people that are just being nice, I think, and they're just like, "All right, here's $5," sort of a thing. And just for your edification, the first book had 28 backers at the digital level. So
Okay. So not bad.
no,
Respectable. And then this is the second tier. So for $15, you get all 3 books as a PDF.
Mhm.
That's kind of cool. Like, I like that it's like a catch-up tier.
Yeah.
And then I guess is the goal to have them buy the PDFs digitally and then like find you at a show or something and buy them in person if they like it.
So
Like,
they can do it that way, or they could buy it on the website. If
right.
memory serves, I think I put on the inside cover of the PDF, "Hey, if you want to buy these physically, here's the website that you can go to." I think I do that.
Oh,
I
cool.
can't remember off the top of my head. I know I do it for the Amazon because Amazon is dumb with how much they take from the digital books. Like they take, so I don't know how familiar you are with selling digital books on Amazon, but um, you have 2 options as a creator. You can take 35% royalty or 70% royalty. And in theory,
Okay.
70 would be the obvious. But if you take the 70, they charge you like a $3 delivery fee. So then they only end up being like a penny or two apart in the end. So yeah, it's
Oh,
dumb. I end up charging $7 on Amazon, and I'm still only getting like $2.30 if somebody buys it, just because I hate Amazon. I don't
wow.
even sell them physically on Amazon because I hate their print. Uh, what is it? Print
The print house. Yeah.
whatever it
Like
is. Yeah,
print on demand or whatever it
print
is.
on
Yeah, yeah.
demand. That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate the quality of the books. And there was a guy I met at a show who he had gotten his books printed through them, and every book was in a totally different size. Like he didn't do that, he said. They just printed it in different sizes. So like the images were stretched and the dimensions were all wonky.
Oh,
And I was like, what the
wow.
Ugh.
hell? So yeah, so no, I'm not a
That's
big fan of
rough.
Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Scott Ian book that I bought and the Frank Bello book I bought and the Peter Criss book I bought, um, you can tell I like musicians.
Right.
They all of them I believe were printed through Amazon. The Scott Ian one might not have been because I think I bought that at like Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Um, but the other two definitely were, and the Peter Criss one you can definitely tell was not great. Like they blew up the font and made it extra pages just
Yeah.
to make it a bigger book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. All right, so for $20 you get the physical copy and a PDF,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and signed. So is it signed just by you or is it signed by
Just
a
me.
couple of you? Okay.
Just me because the team is spread far and wide. So like the artist is out of Spain, the colorist is out of Argentina, the letter is out of Argentina, the editor is out of Texas. This cover artist, Christian Dabari, is also, I believe, out of Texas. Matthew Sutton's out of, I think, Chicago. And then I forget where Maria Wolf's out of. But so yeah,
Chicago. She's out of Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. So yeah, so literally it would be the biggest pain and so expensive to try and get everyone to sign a book. Maybe I could do that as a
Jeez.
tier one day. Like, you want everyone to sign this book? Okay, that'll be like $10,000. Thanks. After all
Because
the
that's
shipping
because that's
fees.
what it's going to cost me
Yeah.
international
Yeah,
shipping.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, all right. For $30 you get the book and a pin and your name on the thank you page.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of cool. And that's the pin, the Aware Wolf,
Yeah.
right? That's
So
cool.
it's like a third eye sort of thing. I was debating doing a yoga pose werewolf and have it be a werewolf, but We went with the third eye. Okay.
Like Downward Dog, werewolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. $50 catch-up tier, physical
And
copies of all of it and PDFs of all of it and
yes.
signed copies of all of it.
Yep. And a
Wow.
mini print, a bonus mini print
Ooh.
by Emily Swan.
Aw, that is a cute little. That is definitely Emily. Holy
Mhm.
shit. So that's awesome. Um, yeah, that's a lot of book.
Mhm.
That's not bad at all. Like, if you're like a fan of werewolves and you have a friend who's a fan of werewolves, buy this one because then you get the PDF. If you read it and you're like, I don't want to break my book's spines at all because they are
Sure.
thick books.
Yeah.
Um,
The first two are
and
each 72 and this one's 96, so
right.
Hmm.
Uh, so you could just read the PDFs and keep the signed ones off to the side. You can give some as gifts. Like this is a great, I think this is a great package for the people who like to give gifts of cool horror stuff.
Mhm.
So this one I thought was interesting. Um, because this one, what else did this one come with that I was like, oh yeah. So you get the T-shirt
Mhm.
and the werewolf mini, like
Yeah.
the little resin mini,
Yep.
which I thought was cool. So how big is the mini? Is it like a regular like
It's a standard size
3 inch
mini. Yeah.
or two and a
Whatever
half,
I
whatever?
I forget the
Standard
exact
size
size on it.
D&D.
Yeah, it's standard size
Yeah, yeah,
D&D
okay,
mini. Yeah.
yeah. I thought that was pretty sweet. Um, and then you get the MP3 audio commentary,
Yeah.
which so is the commentary like each creator
No.
talking about how them designing it, or is it you talking about each cover?
So again, that would be difficult because of scheduling and everything else. So I try
Right.
and do as much of it by myself as possible. So for what we did with the commentary for the second book is I have a buddy of mine, Charles McFall, who's another podcaster,
Mhm.
and we sit down and literally we go through every page, every cover, all that stuff, and I just tell stories about here's the backstory of this, and who designed it, what went into it. Okay, here's page one. This is what I was thinking on this one, and we go panel by panel and break it down, sort of like a behind the scene, like a director's commentary on a movie, sort of thing.
Huh. That's pretty sweet. I almost want to just listen to that someday. Just like put it on in the car when I'm driving to like one of the stores.
Okay,
Like, like my
it's
furthest
long.
drive's like
I will tell you,
I was gonna
it
say
is
my
long.
furthest drive's an hour and a half.
It's
So,
not long enough. Your drive's not long enough.
well, it's a 3 hour round trip.
Okay. You know what? I
So,
think it might be around 3 hours for us to go through all 72 pages and the covers. So,
uh,
you know what? You might be. I'd have to
there we
look at it
go.
again.
That'll
It'll
be
definitely be
awesome.
longer than 3 hours for this book because of the 96.
Jeez. All right, here's the retailer tier, which is I think did I do this one? I think I did this
I
one
think you did
twice.
that one.
I think I did two of it though.
Okay.
Didn't I? Yeah, I think I doubled it because I wanted 10 copies. Um,
Gotcha. Okay.
You
What's
yeah.
have
the
to get
So
the
I think I
extra
did.
outcome?
Maria Wolf copies. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they should. Or so I guess that's the other question. So when you do a retailer tier, are all of the number threes going to be the Maria cover, or is it going to be a
Yes.
mix?
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
It'll all be Maria.
Oh, sweet.
So what's interesting is if you did buy the same tier twice, I don't know why you would do that because at retailer tier 2, it's also 10, 10 of each. So,
Well, maybe that's what I did. We'll get
but
to
it
that
is
one.
double. So,
We're
wow.
almost we're almost to that point.
Because that
Um,
tier, all it is I don't charge for the bookmarks or the prints or the mini prints or anything like that. It's just the wholesale cost for the books. So that's all the that goes into that price.
cool. I like the 11 by 17 with store logo. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So the cute little package of terror.
Mm-hmm.
This,
I love the knit
oh my God.
werewolf.
Oh, actually,
That's
Like,
I almost forgot.
I was gonna say, can we see the 6 inch crocheted werewolf? Because that's awesome.
Yeah, I got it right here.
All right, hold on. Let me. There we
Oh, there.
go.
Oh, that's cute.
Aw,
And if you get one of
cute.
these, you can technically upgrade them or get the other one. So here's the 10-inch version. It's a little bit
Ooh,
different color, and then there's an 18-inch version.
holy crap.
Has a little bit more detail
So,
as
so you
well.
just beat someone with that.
Yeah,
Just fill it with
Wow.
sand and just go.
I was
"Wah."
gonna say, I was like, you'd have to fill it some because it's very soft. So
I'm gonna put quarters in it. It'll be fine.
there you go. Put oranges. Put oranges in it. So it doesn't
Oranges,
leak.
yeah, there we go.
Just Irish Spring. It'll be like isn't that like in college we used to make the joke of the Irish flogger where you put the Irish Spring in a tube sock and take somebody out back. So um this is an awesome package because you get look at all the stuff you get. You get all the signed physical copy of 3, the digital copy of 3, the shirt, the pin, the audio commentary, the resin wolf, your name and the thank yous. Then you also get all this stuff.
Well,
Like
some of that is also that. So like
right,
the,
right, right,
the
right.
thing at the top is what you it's like this is what's new in this tier, and then you also get this. And then the includes thing is just everything that's actually in the tier. Kickstarter's
Right.
weird with that, but
Weird. Okay, I probably did this one. Yeah.
okay.
So 10 copies of each, store logo or store name, print with the logo, bookmarks, and mini print. Yeah.
Because I
So
think you also
is
bought some extra like some I think you got some Emily Swan other stuff, I think. I can't
I
remember.
think
I know
so
you got a
too. I think
couple extras, but I don't remember exactly what they were.
I'll have to log
I
in
think they were
and
Swan
look what I
stuff.
got. I think so. I love Emily's stuff. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
This is the Wolf by Another Name. So what else is on this one?
So you get a 6-inch resin statue.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that like it's kind of hiding. Oh, you get
No,
this
that's
one
the
Yeah, you get
instead.
that
statue.
one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, damn,
That
that's
that looks
awesome.
cool. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say.
one of the only
Wow.
good things to come out of Memento Con.
You just happen to find somebody that does resin.
The guy across from me printed does like 3D printed mini stuff, and I said, hey, where do you get your stuff modeled? Because I was having a hell of a time finding somebody where it wasn't like, oh, you want that statue modeled, that'll be $5,000. I was like, it's not worth it at all.
Right.
And so yeah, so he put me in touch with this guy who has a Patreon, and yeah, we worked together. He designed the miniature and the statue, and I have the 3D printer, so I'll print them myself. So yeah.
Wow. That's
Nice.
awesome.
And there was a bonus T-shirt in that tier too, because I made a T-shirt of everyone's favorite print, the black and white werewolf.
That one there
There
or
you
this
go.
one? Oh yeah,
Nope,
this
that
one.
one
The
there.
new
That
one.
one there.
It's
That's
a Pop Man
awesome.
art. And then I
But
think that tier
by
also,
Pop Man?
yeah, Pop Man,
Oh,
MHAN. Is that how you pronounce it?
yeah.
Yep. So my friend Shannon is friends with every person apparently in the industry, and so
So
just made her that print for me, and I was like, oh, okay. And literally, it's everybody's favorite print. Every show I go to,
so
that's one I sell the most of.
so he was at Baltimore. Did you hang out with him at Baltimore?
No, I didn't get a chance to go talk because I'm always solo at shows, so I don't really get
Oh,
to
right.
get up and go around too much. For Maria, I was trying to get over there, like before shows started or after
Hmm.
shows, stuff like that. And I did also go over and say hi or bye. I can't remember which to Philip Kennedy Johnson's wife because she stopped by to say thanks. So
Nice.
yeah,
I was gonna say, Pop Man is a good friend of our boss, Todd, and he used to live in like somewhere down south, but it was more East Coasty, like I
okay,
want to say like Georgia or something or
okay.
Tennessee. And so Todd goes to Florida one year and he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I brought you this," and I have it on my wall. And he was sitting there with Pop Man just like at a bar or something, and
Mm.
he literally drew me the Flash
Ah,
and it just says to GM John from Pop Man, and I'm just like, this is awesome. So I had to meet him because I was like, dude, I loved your He-Man stuff, like
yeah,
and that was mostly what we talked about. But now he lives in I think Texas, so he's a
okay.
little bit further out. But I was just like, man, I am totally gonna be able to hang out with this guy forever. Like the way, like he and I were very similar, I think, in
Mhm.
how we were. So, um, And he just kind of seemed like that kind of guy that doesn't give like he like gives zero shits. Like he's just like, yeah, yeah, it's cool, man, whatever. So, all right, so here we have the Trove of Treasures cover level, which is where we get the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And this is this the one where it's like you get yourself
You get to die in the next book.
Yeah.
And then I give you a print of your death page. Yeah. And there's
That's
also
cool.
So awesome.
there's also a little pin or a bat, or it's not a pin, it's a button. CFB for Chief Financial Backer.
Nice.
There you go.
The next tier is for you, John.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's all the
Oh,
jersey. It's
oh
the catch-
shit! It's all the jerseys.
It's the jersey catch-up.
Oh god. Oh god.
Something tells me John's gonna have a call. He's gonna call Todd and be like, "Hey, can I get an advance
Can I get
on
it?
my
Yeah, I did
bonus?"
really well this one. Can I get a bonus?
I promise I won't argue with you for the entire year. Can I just borrow $800? Right.
You'll just be
Like-
texting me. You'll be like, "Justin, argue with Todd." I'll be
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't want to do it again."
Oh man. This is awesome.
There you
Like,
go.
oh, this is really cool. I wish I had $800 to dump on it for just
I hear
myself.
you.
Want to
Damn.
go halvesies on it?
What? We'll just each get a jersey.
Yeah, we each get a jersey.
You just borrow the jerseys back and
Yeah,
forth.
we'll
so, you know.
alternate. Be
Right.
like,
You get
"Hey,
this one this
when's
week, I get
laundry
this
day
one."
for you?
Well, but they're personalized hockey jerseys though. Like that's like what? How do
You
we?
can put
How
new
do we
dimension on the
decide?
back.
We
Well,
could.
you
we can.
you could put GM on one, and then the other one we'll just put lieutenant on the other, and we'll be back and forth.
Well, maybe we should see if Scott wants to split it, and then we'll each just get a
Get a
jersey.
jersey. There you go.
There you go.
I'm sure he'd be like, "What the hell? Why would I want this?" Like,
It's like, well, if you
Well,
don't
then
want it, I
you
guess
I'm
I'll
okay.
take it.
Talk Ryan
like-
into it. Ryan will do
he'd
it.
be like, "These aren't magic cards." Like,
There you go.
You might be able to talk Ryan into it though. Ryan would do
he
it.
might, yeah. Well, yeah, but he doesn't have that kind of money. He's
True.
you know.
True.
But anyway,
I can always
No,
talk
that's-
my wife into it. She'll get a hockey jersey. She'll wear it.
super cool.
This tier
Well,
is
I
more
mean-
of a joke. There's not really a whole lot added between the last one and this one. I just wanted to have one for it to be a nice round number. So in addition to going on the thank you page, you also go in the credits with like the rest of the actual team, and you would
There you
have the
go.
title of God King. That would be your
Nice.
Wow.
Maybe you should have
Wow.
made like a scepter pin to go with it.
scepter pin. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
the God King.
Yeah.
The God
Mhm.
King pin. Or like it looks like a crown. but
That'll
it
be
just
for
says
next
teeth.
Kickstarter.
That's the next time. You know
Use
what?
that for
I'm gonna
next
write that down.
Kickstarter.
God King pin.
Wow. That is freaking awesome. You get to die in it, you get jerseys, you get
Mhm.
to be the God King. It's
Yep.
all good. Wow.
I was gonna say maybe you should talk. You should see if Blizzard be like, "Hey, look, I write this comic book, and I'll pay you to have it in Diablo or World of Warcraft, but it needs to have the title God King."
There
And
you
then
go.
it comes with there.
My buddy used to work for Blizzard, and if Heroes of the Storm was still a thing, I could probably have gotten him to put it somewhere in Heroes of the Storm, but he doesn't work there anymore. So, and I don't think they do anything with Heroes anymore, anyway.
No, that's one of the games that they cut.
Yeah,
So
Right.
because he used to tell me
Oh,
about all the
man.
fun little Easter eggs that only the team knew about, and
Yeah.
nobody outside the studio, like the Grump Stump. Apparently, there's a Grumpy Stump someplace that they designed just for funsies that most people don't ever notice because you don't go there for any reason. And it's just a Grumpy Stump.
Like I can only imagine like what happens when your boss finds out that you just like put all these random things in there and just kind of wasted time instead of just developing the game as you're supposed to.
Well, this was after the game had already come out. So at that point, they were just doing skins and like a new hero every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
He was I can't remember if he was the lead artist or he was the director of environmental art, but yeah, so he was at Blizzard for a while. That's how I went to my first BlizzCon, my only BlizzCon. And then he went to Riot after that, and then Sid Meier, and I don't even remember where he is anymore because he just went to another studio in a like director role. So,
That's pretty awesome.
oh yeah, there was he had gotten, so apparently the dev team for Heroes of the Storm all got these reversible like hoodie jacket things, like the zip up kind. And they're really cool. They're blue and red, and they said dev team on them. And he didn't care, so he gave it to me. And I used to wear it all the time. I don't really fit it in anymore since COVID. And when I went to visit him out in LA, I had it. And he's like, "Yeah, you can't wear that." I was like, "What?" He's just like, "Yeah, people will know that I gave it to you, and you're not supposed to have it. So no, you cannot. No."
You're like, shit, now I gotta put this jacket on.
Yeah.
And it's hot because
There
it's
was a
LA.
couple places I went to wearing that, and they were like, "Oh, I love your game, man." I was like, "Oh, I don't actually work for the. I don't do that. I just get swag every once in a while. It's fun."
All right, so catch people up, give them the Nickel Tour Volume 1 and Volume 2, and then kind of give us a little bit of a pitch for Volume 3 so people know what they're in for.
Sure. So, Lycan Solomon's Odyssey is the story of the world's first werewolf. So it's a little horror, a little mythology, a little adventure, a little history. That's sort of like the grand scheme elevator pitch. The first book is the origin story in the series, sets up, how he contracts lycanthropy, gets you used to the character, the setting, the stakes, that sort of a thing. The second book moves a little, it takes place the day after the first book ends, and then over the course of a couple hundred years. And it deals with themes of PTSD and anxiety and loss, things like that, and then opens the world up as well to things like magic and ancient Arabic mythology and folklore and monsters. And then this third book takes place, after the second one, again, over the course of a couple hundred years. And this one, the best way I describe it is H.P. Lovecraft meets Gilgamesh. So it's all about Gilgamesh, but from the idea of what if the Epic of Gilgamesh is the story that Gilgamesh told, because he really doesn't want anyone to know what actually happened to him. And Enkidu would be, Solomon and that sort of thing, because they're good friends in the book,
right?
That sort of thing. And it also opens the world up even more to cosmic horror and gods and things from, outer space and all that jazz. So,
And God Kings.
And God Kings. Yeah. Yeah. And if anybody plays D&D, you'll probably notice that the gods in the third book look an awful lot like the Goliath race from D&D, because that's sort of the main inspiration for the look of them, with some tweaks here and there. But I was like, I really like the Goliath race, and I feel like that would make for a really, foreboding, just 8-foot tall, or I think they might even be 10-foot tall. They're freaking huge compared to like normal people. Yeah.
I think Justin's looking it up. He's like, hold on, let me find it. I see the screen brighten up, so I'm like, oh, he's looking for something.
Yeah.
Either that or you're just sitting way too close to your screen. It's one or the other.
Oh, and that too. I have to, because my pup is like pushing my seat forward here, because she wants to get close to dad, because mom's on work vacation.
See, my 116-pound dog doesn't care about getting close to me. This is where I feel like being at this moment, and you just happen to be in the way. So
yeah,
it is what it is. The other day, I was dog sitting my roommate's dog because she was away. So I had both dogs in the bed with me. And I woke up at 4 a.m, and I was laying diagonally because her dog had just taken the spot where my feet were and just pushed me out of the way. And then at about 5 or 6 a.m, my dog climbs up like where I am laying, because I'm on the edge, and just straight up pushes me to the other side of the bed and is like, nope, this is my spot now. And just lays her head on my pillow. I got no blankets because I got 2 heavy dogs laying on the blankets. I'm like, no, this is fun. It's good. Have a great time. Thanks, dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely does that. Well, we have 2 cats, and it is a riot watching them interact. Because the old man doesn't care. He just sleeps on the dog. The young one is like, oh, you're sissy. So he'll get up on his hind leg and he'll just go.
I would be curious to see what my dog would do with cats, because she's like typically pretty sweet with like other dogs, even ones that are like super tiny.
Mhm.
But the only time she's ever met a cat was outside on the street, and that cat stood in the middle of the sidewalk and didn't budge, and Yoshi took a very wide berth around said cat. So I don't know. Who knows what she would do?
My dogs are just tiny and fast and crazy, and um, yeah, like
Just like
they
the
do the
vet.
same thing. Like exactly. Well, I'm not tiny. I'm like the opposite of tiny. Um, mostly because I'm a fat guy. But I
You
I
have to
feel
be
the
to live
pain
where you
of.
are with all that, the temperature being that low. You
It's
have to.
true. Yeah, yeah. It's
Have the
like
insulation.
natural. It's like wearing a natural sweater. It's great.
Yeah.
Um, it- um, but yeah, I feel the pain of sleeping diagonally in the bed. Like that is an every evening thing, and then every once in a while, Marshall will end up just vomiting in the bed, and
Nothing
we're
wakes
just
you up
like,
faster than that sound.
yep, yep,
Yep.
yep,
It's like,
yep.
where
I'm
is
just
it?
See,
like,
Where is it coming?
yep.
I get the
I'm like, oh
cats
God, and
doing that.
I throw the blankets on the floor immediately, and I just wait for it to happen.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, depending on where it happens, I'm like, well, going to sleep on the couch,
Yep.
or because I'm not going to sleep in after I clean it up like on
Oh,
a big wet pile. But
yeah.
if it happens on my wife's side, then whatever. I'm just going
Yeah,
to
it's
yeah, whatever.
That's for her to deal with. It's whatever.
Right? This is
That's
your
your
problem.
side. You
Yeah, that's
yeah,
your
you gotta
side.
wash
It's
your
your problem.
side.
right.
You just like take an X-Acto knife and just cut that side of the covers off. You're like, you know what? You
Oh no
have
no
that.
no! Like she has a separate blanket like that is just
Okay.
her side of the bed that she puts on
Okay.
the bed, and then sleeps on top of that with blankets. Even though she's the one who's like always excessively hot, I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Just
so
like blankets.
and I can't sleep in the extra room anymore, which I only did during when I had COVID. Um, but because she turned it to her office, and the bed that was in there, she literally flipped it on its side and just moved it off to the side of the room. And I'm just like, can what are we doing with this? I don't know, whatever. I'm like, oh, okay.
You just need to learn to sleep standing up, and then you can like stand up, leaning into the bed. Easy.
Well,
Problem solved.
I mean, so a couple weeks ago, I started rewatching the X-Men animated series, and there were a couple nights where I definitely fell asleep sitting up watching it. And I'd wake up and be like, "Shit, I can rewind 2 episodes." So I definitely have been doing that. Now I'm on to the Spider-Man animated series, and I just finished the Daredevil episodes before we started tonight, and they were actually really good. Except the dude who voiced Daredevil, like his voice is like overly boomy. He's like, I'm Daredevil. And I'm just like, dude, back off.
Yeah. I still I remember when Spider-Man 3 came out back in the day. I was like, why didn't they just do the plot line from the animated series when it came to Venom? I was like, they did it great. You should have just done that.
Yep.
There you go. Boom. And there's plenty of people who hadn't seen it that it would have been like, oh, this is new to me.
I mean, they kind of did that. But
well, there was a bell.
There was a bell.
Well, so
the
main thing is like the animated version didn't have Sandman and who was the other one that was in the the other Green Goblin, the Hairy Goblin.
Yeah.
And but whoever thought that Hairy Goblin's look was a good thing was also, I'm pretty sure, very high or drunk or something.
Well, that was remember that era was the era of extreme. So it was like, if we make him look like he comes out of ESPN X Games, he'll look cool.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it looks like.
X Goblin. We'll just call him X Goblin.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Goblin.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Goblin.
Tony Hawk Goblin.
Yeah, there we go. It's like watch him do the 360.
That's
Woo!
Right. And throw a grenade.
Right. with Rancid playing in the background, and
Can you dig on this?
I'll
never forget it for the rest of my life. I'll never forget. Can you dig on this?
I would have paid like for the last Spider-Man if they would have all kind of danced a little
That would have been
jig. That would have been funny.
I think I've
the
seen that
end
as a meme
credits.
where somebody did that and like because they're obviously those other two actors have danced at some point.
Yeah.
They just stuck him in the background of that same scene as him walking out, like doing the whatever scene that
Yeah.
was, and then just stuck those two behind him.
The emo dance scene. It was
deleted scene from what was it?
Right.
This is what Sam Raimi really wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good. But in
So
the
bad.
animated though, it's even weirder because like instead of him being like emo-y, he's like super overly aggressively like roiding out angry.
Well,
And
yeah.
it's just like whoa, which
Well,
like
that's what
you
he
know, because I
was doing
kind
in
of thought that I was
comics,
like,
though.
oh yeah, I know. But I'm just like, which way would I have preferred it? Because I don't think that Tobey Maguire could have pulled off the
Yeah, it's true.
like
I don't know if he could.
the angry, roided out style.
Well,
Would have had to use
Peter
the
Parker.
CGI
They
to make
did-
him all bulky.
They did have him be aggressive because like he would constantly taunt Tony Hawkgoblin and like he blew up his face and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
and he tried to murder Sandman. So I mean basically they subbed out because I think in the animated series, wasn't it Rhino that he was just absolutely
Yeah, he was-
demolishing?
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, so they basically subbed out Rhino for Sandman. I feel like.
Yeah. I also found some interesting trivia about the animated series. Like Sandman doesn't appear because James Cameron was originally going to make a Spider-Man movie and he wanted Sandman in it.
Oh.
And Electro. Those were the two people he wanted in it. So that's why the Electro we get in the Spider-Man animated, it's like at the very end, the last season,
Mhm.
might even be the last episode, and it's not actually like the actual character that is Electro.
wasn't
And
it
Sandman never
Red
appears at
Skull's
all.
kid or something?
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, when they were when he was fighting with Captain America and was it the
Right.
Freedom Fighters, whatever the heck they called themselves?
Mhm.
The Freedom Force, whatever the heck they were.
It's been such a long
I don't
time.
remember.
Well, it was
I did.
It was the Wizard. I remember the Wizard.
Wizard.
Right.
Black Marble, Lady America, or something like that. It was like a couple of them there. I remember watching it. This is like just off the top of my head. I haven't watched it in forever. But
I haven't quite got there. I think I'm in season 4 right now because I
this
just
is
watched
like one of the last seasons.
Yeah, I'm almost there because there's only 5 seasons of it.
Yeah.
And I did watch like the X-Men episodes were pretty good. Which is weird because I'm just like, man, the animation on this show is so much better than the animation that was on the X-Men show. So, but
They
then they
came
went
out
back
right
to
around the
that
same time,
studio.
right?
Yeah, but they were
couple
two
years
different
later.
studios.
Okay, because they showed them
like-
both on Fox Kids when I was growing up.
Yes.
So
Yeah. But they weren't allowed to use Spider-Man on the X-Men one. But they can use the X-Men on the Spider-Man one because the X-Men was being done in Canada and Spider-Man was in LA. So that's why they brought all those guys down to LA for the 2 episodes. Yeah, and that's why when they do Secret Wars, it's only Storm because it's not the Storm that was currently Storm's voice. It was the original Storm voice who happened to still be living in LA. So
okay.
yeah, so they were like, oh well, we can make this work. Come over here and just do this voiceover. But I thought that was cool. There were definitely some good episodes, like when they go through like the whole mutant or the mutagenic nightmare or whatever they call it, where it's like basically the Morbius story. And like they do really well with him. Like Blade was interesting because I was like, why does Blade dress like Danny Ketch? And then why does he have a lightsaber? Like
I don't even remember Blade from the animated from Spider-Man.
yeah,
animated
he's in
series.
like 2 episodes.
Well, again, this was pre Wesley Snipes where they actually made him cooler.
I don't know. When was that first Blade movie? Hold on.
1997.
I was gonna say I know it was in the 90s.
97.
Very sure.
97 or
98,
98,
sir.
Yeah.
98.
98.
Yeah, so it was before that, but that
He's like a
episode was
biker.
most yeah. He's got
Now
like the
now
3
he looks
spikes.
familiar. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, he totally Yeah, he's
He
got
looks
a
like Ghost
lightsaber.
Rider.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. He looks like Danny Ketch.
Huh.
And then like, but that story has like him and Whistler, and they talk about the serum and everything, and it's basically the first movie without Frost in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out. I thought it was very well done. Like most of the Spider-Man show, I'm like enjoying more than the X-Men show because it's a little less, uh, like what the hell, like why don't they know this guy and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Like
Didn't
it
the
was a little
X-Men show
less
just kind of
hopping
also
around.
just end, like it just stopped on a random episode or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
It
With
was
like,
supposed to end on graduation day, which is what it did end on.
okay,
If you watch it now,
okay,
they basically take the seasons and kind of like reweave the stories so that they
okay,
make a little more cohesiveness to them.
okay,
So like in the middle of season 2, you get like the X Factor episode.
okay.
Because all of a sudden I'm like, that's not the right theme song because it's like that last season had like the actual guitar player like playing this song,
Hmm.
and the art was like different. Um, but Saban had done the X-Men show. This other company did Spider-Man animated. Then when Marvel folded and Fox split with W or UPN, they killed both shows and then did Spider-Man Unlimited, but it was a pseudo continuation of Spider-Man animated, but was with Saban Studio. So that's why the animation in that show isn't as good as Spider-Man, but the writing is good because it's the same. Like it's the same
Okay.
people. But it's sort of 2099.
Okay.
Like, like I'm just like, isn't this supposed to be Miguel? Like what the hell?
I was gonna say, yeah, they had that short run for like it wasn't.
It was like
Yeah, it
two
was
seasons
unlimited, but
maybe.
like
Yeah.
wasn't uh J. Jonah Jameson's son like a werewolf in that or something?
Well, I think he's in that in the regular
Or is it okay?
stuff.
Was it maybe
Yeah,
I'm
because he's
getting
he's
mixed
Man
up?
Wolf. Yeah.
Man Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't turn into anything in that new Unlimited series.
Oh, he
as
doesn't.
far as I know.
Okay.
No, they end up on the planet with all these animal people, which is like
Okay.
kind of like the
Right.
high evolutionary kind of thing,
Yeah.
without the high evolutionary.
And
Yeah.
wasn't there
But he's
also like a
dressed like Spider-Man
stylized?
2099.
Yeah, and wasn't there like a stylized Carnage and Venom too, or something like
Yes,
that?
yeah.
Okay. So okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it's weird because the Venom was only in the series so far for 3 episodes, and
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, so when's Carnage coming in? Because I think he comes in at the very end.
He does come in. I
Um,
remember him being in the animated
I was gonna
series.
say he's in it a couple times.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
meet Cletus, and
Mhm.
then you have Spidey Carnage, which is like the whole multiverse, the first multiverse where you meet like the half a dozen Peter Parkers and Ben
Oh yeah,
Riley.
because this is where Spider-Verse got its whole backstory from.
Yep.
So.
With the proper Madam Web.
Oh yeah, I just actually she's in the story that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Which
She was in that show
you
a
know,
lot, I feel like, from what I
Yeah,
remember.
she's through that
Yeah.
last season where she's kind of
Well-
like she's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of Spider People.
Yeah.
Where she's
yeah,
putting him through tasks to train him throughout the
Mhm.
series, which was cool. You know,
Mhm.
I get it. It was,
yeah. Well, that starts in season 4, which is where I'm at now, because that's where like Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo are like the opening episode,
yes,
and
with the proper Wong,
yes,
the bald Kung Fu Wong.
but even though he totally sounds very Western American,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I think what's his name does the voice is Mr. Sulu does the voice of Wong in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
George Takei?
George Takei, yes.
It's
Is it
Takei.
Takei? Okay.
Takei.
I always
I've
add
heard
He
of
always
his voice, I don't
because
know.
he always says it because he said something like it rhymes with gay. Like
Okay.
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's Takei. But whatever. I think he'd be fine with Takei. Whatever, as long as you get George
It
right.
sounds
I'm pretty
very
sure he's down.
fancy. I'm sure he
Yeah.
doesn't mind.
I'm sure he just was like, just call me Sulu. It's cool.
Yeah.
So
I love him on
I would just
Twitter.
refer to him. So.
I love watching
Oh
him on
yeah,
Twitter. He kills the GOP constantly, and it amuses the heck out of me.
yeah. Yeah. So, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Um, so all right, so let's have people let people know where they can find Lycan, where they can back it, where they can find you on socials if they have questions or just want to reach out and be like, yo, bitch in jerseys. Whatever.
Sure. So you can check out the Kickstarter at www.lycanbook.com. That's LYCANBOOK.com. That's the easy to redirect. I mean, if you really want to search for it on Kickstarter, you can look up Lycan Solomon's Odyssey Chapter 3. You can also find my website, hiveheadstudios.com, if you wanted to pick up the first two books before, backing the Kickstarter, or you wanted to get them and not have to wait until the third book comes out, sort of a thing. You could do it that way as well. You can also get to the Kickstarter through the website. You can find me on social media at World's Most Okayest DM or over on Hivehead Studios. If I post on one, I just post it to the other one anyway. So if you follow one, you follow both pretty much. And I'm also part of Botched, a D&D podcast, an improv comedy show draped in the loose skin of Dungeons and Dragons with a little bit of drinking involved. And our current season is set in the SCP universe, if you're familiar with that. And if you're not, we have an employee orientation video over on our YouTube page, Botched Podcast, because I make company training videos for my normal day job. So I was like, well, this is easy.
That's awesome. All right. Well,
Maybe we
as
should have him make
always,
that for New Dimensions. That would be
there
you go.
I don't know. Like training vids, like they would watch it. Come on. So
Most of
yeah.
what I make
Anyway,
for my actual day job is propaganda. It's just internal propaganda like, hey, this is a thing and you should be excited about it. And you don't have a choice. We're cramming it down your throat, but you should be excited. And here's why.
yeah. Well, it would just be Todd, Comic Hub, Todd, Comic Hub, dollar books. And that's all we need in the company, right?
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
So exactly. All right. Well, thank you as always, Dennis. You're always fun to hang out with, and I am looking forward to hanging out with you again in June.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a great time in Pittsburgh. We're very excited. And yeah, maybe we can talk Maria into doing random sketches of Solomon at the show. That'd be awesome.
I'm sure she'd probably be down for it. Oh, you want me to make more werewolf stuff? Yeah, I could do.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Be like, hey, you know that train I bought you? Can you just draw me?
There you go.
Like, that'd be sweet.
But yeah,
So,
thank you for
all
having
right.
me on. It's always fun. So I appreciate coming on and hanging out with you guys.
Awesome. We love having you, man. You're always a good time, and it's great to have guests like you because they're always a joy to look forward to. It's not just like, oh, this dude just wants to come on and talk about his podcast. Like, it's a lot of fun, and even though you're an Eagles fan, we'll put that aside.
Listen,
So,
we used to be one team. We used to be
That's
one
true.
team a
It's
long
true.
time ago. We were
True.
the
Yeah.
Steagles,
True.
I got no problem with the Steelers.
I was gonna-
It's a totally different division, whatever, or a different
Right.
conference.
Yeah.
I root for either one as long as they're not playing for playing against each other. Then I root for the Eagles.
Right. That's fair. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next week. And don't forget to buy comics at your local shop. Doesn't have to be us, but it'd be nice if it was. We will see you next week.